I'm Aden Matthews.
And I'm Zach Snyder.
And welcome back to another YouTube podcast, the one-stop shop for anything and everything related to YouTube.
The show where you can now download and buy our podcast episodes as NFTs.
Oh, really? How's that work
No.
out? I was about to say, I'm kind of hyped for this. Can you get money off this shit?
No, I just thought it'd be funny.
Or what would I even do with Ethereum? Like, if you just, Zach's like, hey, got some Ethereum for this NFT. You're like, cool. What am I going to do with it? I'm just going to sit there.
I mean, Ethereum will rise in value. So if you buy shit, if somebody buys something from you with Ethereum, same with Bitcoin, that shit's going to rise in value.
So doing nothing
Which
is
is
a smart
pretty
idea.
epic. So, but buying tweets, which you can do, pretty stupid in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, if you're making money off it, I guess it's not too stupid.
If you're making money, yes. Yeah. If you're buying it, no. So
we need
you really got to get the dumb people to buy your shit, which was why I put one of my tweets for sale.
I saw.
Yeah, it's pretty epic.
No offers yet, apparently, but it could happen.
I'm away. The tweet, for those that are interested, go to @Zach Snyder Prod on Twitter, is how to invest in V-Bucks. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the tweet.
You could be the proud owner of it.
Yeah. What were you going to say, though? Should we do that?
Do we need to do an episode on NFT stuff?
I feel like... So, okay. The podcast is about, the creator shit, the creator side of the internet. And, on one hand, NFTs do have a pretty big creator upside, I think. I need to do a little more research because I think they're stupid, but I think there is still some potential in the long run, not the short run at all. Don't go buy NFTs right now. If we're going to do that, we'd have to talk about cryptocurrency too, I think.
Oh, good Lord. I don't know if I can.
We would have to do both.
There's some topics we tackle on another YouTube podcast. I don't know how the fuck I get to a point of knowledge where I can easily explain cryptocurrency without being and according to, right? I don't know any of that shit, bro. Head empty.
I could easily do a thing on crypto. I've been following it for a while. Since 2017 is when I actually understood it. I've known about Bitcoin since 2014, so you know how angry I am about that.
Yeah,
it would have been nice if I took all my buy low grocery store checks and just put it into Bitcoin. I'd be a billionaire.
Probably. Here you are on the podcast instead.
but here I am
about
instead.
YouTube.
Yeah. So we could do that, and I could cover that if we both really. Oh, I get the asshole on my side today.
Wow,
did you hear that?
Never happens. Yeah, I did.
No.
To be fair, I think the only reason it's not happening to me today is there's a tornado passing through, so no asshole is out on their ATV right now. But
oh, okay.
No, that's funny. Sense. That's funny that it happened to you for once. Shit was
long story short, if we both want to do research on NFTs, watch some YouTube videos, read a little article or whatever, I could cover anything that has to do with crypto, and then we could do an episode if that's something that we want to do and people want it.
The thing with the NFT conversation for me is you're able to kind of read a Wall Street Journal article and figure out what it is. It's the why that I don't get yet. It's the why would you?
Yeah.
And that's part of the important conversation. I'm if I don't have that piece, I don't feel comfortable talking about it. And like you said, it's going to be a thing that's a long-term thing anyway. So I say we just kind of push that along until it actually is relevant. But crypto we can do anytime. I think that's
fair. That's fair. I will say talking about NFTs on YouTube is pretty relevant because people are fucking eating that content up. But we can play that by ear. I did want to say, first off, what are we talking about today, Aiden?
We are talking about the YouTube Studio. We've mentioned it before several times, but we've never really decided to tackle it because it's always updating stuff. And turns out, as I'm looking at it right now, they updated something else that we didn't even get
Oh,
to cover on the first recording. So, yeah,
yeah.
we're finally talking about it today.
Hell yeah. So we'll be talking about the analytics, the back end, how to use all of the YouTube Studio. Feel free to go along with us. But I did want to bring up one more thing before we do our epic ad read. I got a book in the mail today.
Oh,
Something came in the mail today. It's the Daryl Eves, the YouTube Formula book.
oh shit!
I did not buy this.
Got
My
Daryl in the house.
yeah, my friend, and I do like video projects with him. He helps me with the Pat Flynn content. He bought this for me. Just bought it. So it's called the YouTube Formula: How Anyone Can Unlock the Algorithm to Drive Views, Build an Audience, and Grow Revenue. There's a foreword by Mr. Beast, so that's pretty epic. But I think I'm gonna I feel like I should actually read it because somebody did gift it to me, and it's relevant to what I do. But if you wouldn't mind, what I'm thinking about doing is like reading a chapter a week or whatever, and then talking about if there's anything relevant on the podcast.
That could be cool.
Little segment.
Until the first chapter is the story of Daryl Eves, and then we got to talk about his epic backstory.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take notes when I read it and be like, yeah, this is important. This is something that would be helpful. And I don't know how much of this we haven't talked about because I've followed a lot of YouTube help advice in the past, but I haven't really watched any Daryl Eves, so I don't know what his take on everything is.
Very similar to a lot of the stuff that we've talked about.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I know he also
Does it have
has
his face on the book, on the front cover?
No, it's just a white background with YouTube Formula written on it. Kind of epic.
Classy.
He is on the cover on like when you open up a book and it has like a little flap on it.
Right. Then about
a little flap. Yeah, he's on the back flap and it's got like a little bio about him. Yeah.
Daryl Eves and Tim Schmoyer are the Batman and Robin of YouTube advice. I always picture the two together. Yeah. I don't know if they actually like. I'm sure they know each other, right? They've been.
They do. They've done collaborative shit before.
But those are the two, and Roberto. I don't know what superhero he could be compared to, but we'll work on that. We'll work on the branding later.
We'll work on that. Speaking of Roberto, though. Our sponsor today is Awesome Creator Academy with the YouTube Starter Kit. If you're getting started on YouTube and you have just a little bit of money to throw around, then why not check out the YouTube Starter Kit for $99? You can get over $1,500 of value and dozens of downloads from templates for advanced YouTube thumbnails, channel artwork, end cards, lower thirds, royalty-free background music, fonts, and more. I had a little rap beat right there, and that would have went hard.
It would have.
Pay one price. Pay one price and have unlimited access to future downloads as they come out. Check out the link in the description of the show notes, and in doing so, you'll be supporting another YouTube podcast.
But of course, if you don't have $100 and you still want to support this podcast, you can become a supporter on Anchor at anchor.fm/another-YouTube-podcast. You can decide to support us financially at $1, $5, or $10 a month, and we'll read your name on the podcast. While we plan to do this podcast for a really long time, our rap careers come first. So the more financial support we have, the easier it'll be for us to maintain a consistent bar.
Absolutely. Thank you to Awesome Creator Academy for the sponsorship. Anchor as well. And I know that a lot of Americans right now are getting a pretty nice stimulus check. So I know you got the money to throw around.
Look, we said we were going to do a little bit more influencing on the last episode, and this is what we were talking about right here.
Yeah.
Zach knows your bank account info, so
100%.
Better not skip out on the homies. With how much epic value we've provided? Like $1 at least, bro. At least.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thank you to our sponsors. Appreciate it.
Cool. Let's talk about the YouTube Studio.
Yep. He wasn't originally there. And, back in the day, back in, the long old times of 2010, 2011. You just kind of
Yeah.
upload a video, and that was sort of it. You can fumble around with some playlists, read a couple comments. You're like, okay, whatever, sure. But then YouTube, the ever-evolving social media platform it is like, this thing that we have here, this good thing that is working here, we're Google, and we like to just change shit, or whether or not you asked for it, we just like to change shit. So let's change shit. And so, over the past several years, piece by piece, bit by bit, we've been overhauling the old system and replacing it with this new system called the YouTube Studio. And the idea was not only to make it look nicer, but to give you more information, right? That was the big thing they were touting, is like, you want info on videos, you want data you can look at. We're going to be providing a ton of that. Even numbers you don't even know what the fuck they mean, we're going to be providing that to you. We're going to make it functional, we're going to make it clean, and everybody's going to like it. And it took a long time, but we are finally at the point now where it is like 90% there. And if they do change it, it'll probably be like a minor thing. But we're finally here. YouTube Studio, it's all put together now. It's great.
Yeah, it's nice because for the longest time, they kind of had us in the old YouTube dashboard, and then you could change to the new YouTube Studio, and some features were on the YouTube Studio, some of them were on the old dashboard, so you were like flip-flopping around. You asked me 2 years ago how I felt about YouTube Studio, I'd be like, it's freaking stupid. But now I'm really happy with it. Like, I genuinely am happy that we have as much data as we have here. We have a lot of functionality here now that just wasn't there like 2 years ago.
Absolutely. It's improved a long way. And we're going to talk about all of that. But first, a little bit of a disclaimer, a little bit of a thing that we're not going to be covering. We're not going to be talking about the upload process when you hit the little create button. We're not going to talk about all those menus. We're also not going to be talking about the live streaming dashboard on YouTube, which is its own separate menu with its own separate options. It's there. It's easy to follow. If you need a tutorial, fine. And if you want kind of like, well, I want to know about tags and SEO, we did a whole episode about that, so you should go watch that. This is mainly going to be covering the YouTube Studio, from dashboard to audio library, and even the little settings cog, what things you should change, what numbers you should pay attention to, and just how it all works, So if you have a YouTube channel and you're new, or you've been around the block for a while, you might learn something today. So pull it up, and me and Zach are going to go through it category by category, giving our opinions and knowledge along the way.
Yes, sir. Also, keep in mind we are looking at the desktop version of the studio. There is a mobile app on both Android and iOS. It's slightly different. A lot of the same functions are still there, but if you're looking for the more in-depth analytics stuff that we'll be talking about, that's on mostly desktop only.
Yep. So the feature set's a little bit different, but they are slowly updating the mobile one too.
Yeah.
It's just not 100% there yet, but it will be in time. And who knows? It might even branch off to its own kind of separate thing. Knowing YouTube, probably. Who knows?
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it.
But let's start first with the good old-fashioned channel dashboard, where we got some rectangles of different shapes and sizes. Some of them have important information, like your latest video performance and published videos. Others are just dedicated to white guy with the beard from Creator Insider, who's looking at me very suggestively. I'm not sure what he's trying to get me into here, but I don't trust him, especially with his backwards hat. It's very untrustworthy.
It's funny though, because if you say white guy with a beard and a backwards hat, that's me in like 95% of my videos.
And you're untrustworthy too, so it works. The comparison is there.
I'm a freaking hack. But no, yeah, we have a bunch of different rectangles. The important stuff is usually on the left and the top. You got your latest video performance. It'll show your most recent video and then give you a little bit of like basic information, views, click-through rates. It's pretty crazy, but like, click-through rate wasn't something that we had back in like 2018, and now it's like one of the very first things you see. So we've talked about how important that is in the past. It makes a lot of sense why it's here now.
Just in case people don't know, can you quickly explain click-through rate?
Yeah, absolutely. So
what it is?
So every single video will have a number of impressions. The first time a video is uploaded, you're going to see, people are going to see your video in the sub box. They're going to see it in the notifications. They're going to see it on the home page, browse. Whenever you're watching another video, it may pop up on the sidebar. Whenever you search for a video, your video might show up. Every single time that a person has a chance to see your video pop up on the screen, that is one impression. So usually YouTube does a really good job about that. You can get hundreds to thousands to millions of impressions depending on how well the video is performing. Now, what we're looking for as creators is how to get those impressions to turn into clicks. And that is the click-through rate. So for instance, when you have a video that has a click-through rate of 10%, that means 10% of the people that saw your video pop up somewhere clicked on that video. Doesn't mean they watched it all the way through. It just means that they clicked on it. That means you probably had a pretty good thumbnail and a pretty good title. What we're kind of looking for is if we can get above the 8% to 12% range, somewhere around there, that means you had a pretty good click-through rate. The title and the thumbnail is pretty solid. If it's anything lower than that, that means either the topic that you have is not going out to the target audience, or it's not completely relevant, or it means that you need to upgrade your title and you need to upgrade your thumbnail. So that's what we mean when we say click-through rate.
At any time. You know, the click-through rate could go up, could go down, depending on what you do to your video. Right now, my current newest video, ranking 30 Sega Genesis games in 1 hour, has a click-through rate of 3.3%. And I'm sure it was actually lower than that because, like all good Aden videos, I changed the thumbnail at least 15 times before I settle on one that I like. So I'm sure it's probably improved since then. But you can see the little check mark right next to it. When I highlight over it, it says people are choosing to watch this video as often as your others. So I average around that point. If you have an up arrow, shit means it's doing better than average. Have a down arrow, doing worse than average. But keep in mind, that's also dependent on your size. Just because it's an up arrow doesn't mean it's a good number all around. It's good for where you're at and what you've posted before. But it's cool, though, because having this click-through rate available on the dashboard, being one of those key statistics, you don't have to go digging through it in analytics. You can just find it right here.
Right. A lot of big YouTube advice over the last year or two has been try to get that click-through rate up as high as possible. So really experiment with titles and thumbnails, have backups available. Some people say spend 8 times as more times as you did on the video on the thumbnail. Obviously, that's not going to be reasonable for everybody, depending on the content you make. But it just shows you just how important getting people to click on your video is. Because if they don't click on your video, then you're not going to get anything out of it. So.
Yeah, that's just for a shot at watch time, not even a guarantee.
Right.
If you can't even get people clicking on it, then yeah, your view ceiling is going to be lower than average. But that's analytic stuff. We'll save that when we get to that. Back onto channel dashboard stuff. You also got, your subs, your watch times as a recent. The top videos are ranking of said videos, so you know where they all perform compared to each other. Some latest comments. And for me, they're showing up as channel comments that I haven't responded to because that's the menu I go to most frequently. So I can just see which ones I actually need to tackle rather than the same ones from each new video. And then, like I said earlier, got creator insider guy still here talking about what's new at YouTube, mainly tax information that people are mad about. And remember how I said earlier that there was a new feature added here? Well, in the little news tab, it's right there. You can see your subscriber count over time. You click a little try it out button. It pulls up a little menu, and you can just see how many subs you had in the last 28 days or in lifetime. Which, again, is in the analytics tab, but it's hard to get to it. Most people just use, Social Blade or whatever. So it's cool that there's, a YouTube version of that now.
Yeah, I agree. This is really neat. I didn't know this was here. Because it showed me the new creator roundup is up. I'm like, cool, I don't care. But then right beside it, it's the subscriber count. So that's neat.
Might want to cycle through a couple options when you're in the dashboard, just in case. Sometimes it might be
anything that has to do with news, right?
Yeah.
to have to go on there. They also have like this ideas for you thing where there's an entire creator academy. By the way, I would recommend going through that academy if you have any like really big questions about how to make videos to begin with. It's a pretty good starting point when it comes to anything from uploading videos, making videos, channel optimization, money, like all of that kind of stuff is really exceptionally covered here. It's kind of crazy that not a whole lot of people actually use this. So
It helps just
I'd
to know the
recommend it.
terminology a lot of the time, and then this thing covers
Mm-hmm.
it pretty well.
Yeah, cool. You want to move on to the next little tab?
My favorite tab, the content tab. Not videos, not uploads, channel content. Because
That's right.
that's what we're reduced to these days, I guess. It's just, just more content. I'm glad
Just
YouTube's
make
recognizing it.
content.
Glad YouTube's just
Yeah.
like, we're not gonna hide it anymore. It's just content.
I mean, dude, at this point, like I call movies content. I don't even give a fuck no more. Like it's all
eternal.
content. It's all vying for our attention. We consume it, and we move on to the next thing.
You take away what you want from it.
Exactly. But yeah, we have the content tab. There are two tabs inside of that: the uploads, which is all of your regularly uploaded videos, and your live videos. So if you've done any kind of live streams on YouTube specifically, not VODs, but YouTube specific live streams, you can go there and check out exactly what was a live stream.
I'd love to see a tab where it's the shorts. So you'd have uploads, lives, and shorts. That way you can manage them separately
Me
from
too.
there. Because I really like how the live tab takes all my hundreds of YouTube streams and puts them away from just the upload stuff. Because sometimes I'm just trying to manage a video. Once I have a live stream on YouTube, I'm probably not editing it again. I'm not like out there trying to make it have impressions. Like I care for the people who are there in the moment. The VOD is just for whoever wants it. So it's really nice just be able to click over there, go to the live tab, edit whatever you want in the live stream, and then come on back. Be really cool if back end wise we could have the same thing for shorts.
I agree. I have a feeling they'll end up doing that after Shorts gets out of beta because it still isn't available for everybody. There's a function where you can now have Shorts as part of your YouTube channel. You showed me this.
Yeah.
You can have like a section on your main page, but it still doesn't even pop up for me yet. So we're gonna have to wait to see that. But I like this section a lot. I think that they have really bulked it out. You can go to every single video and automatically change the details of it, like the title and the description, without even clicking on the video. You can go check out the analytics for every single specific video. Same thing with comments. There's a little view on YouTube button, which I really like because it didn't used to be there. And then you can also download, delete, and change the status of visibility. So if you want to schedule it here, you can. If you want to make it private, you can. All that kind of stuff is right in this dashboard.
One of the things that I think YouTube Studio succeeds at in a place where like Twitch, for example, does not, is that the back end on YouTube is very good about getting you to information with the least amount of clicks necessary. So yes, all of those things you just mentioned, you can technically get just by like clicking on a video and having the video specific page where you have all the tags and all that sort of stuff. But it takes like 2 extra clicks to get there. The fact that there are just icons where I can immediately go to analytics for just this video, immediately go to comments for just this video. Doing it the long way around requires 3 or 4 clicks, and wouldn't you know it, that's exactly how Twitch is. I'm trying to get to one specific thing on Twitch, whether it's a clip or stats on something, and I have to go through like 18 different fucking clicks just to get here. This content section is really smart about like, you want something public or private? Right there. You want to know if it has copyright claim on it? Right there. You want to watch it on YouTube? Right there. You want to change the title without going to the video page? It's there. It's all there.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to mass delete videos, mass edit videos, you get something like Tubebuddy to kind of like integrate in there, and you can make it even faster if you want to.
Eventually, we're probably going to have to do like a Twitch dashboard episode, but like, I don't want to do that until Twitch knows what their dashboard does.
Yeah,
Because it's,
I agree.
oh man, I was trying to switch over some VODs to one of my channels the other day, and just downloading the VOD takes a while. But then on top of that, when I put that VOD into my editing software, it doesn't play nicely at all. So I would have to compress it first, and that takes forever. So I'm having to just edit the VODs within Twitch's dashboard. It's a pain in the ass.
I agree.
I'll talk about that more later on our next episode. But yeah, the content section, I like it. Like, you can even see like copyright claims. You can go individually if you've got a copyright claim, it'll tell you, and then you can go from there and go ahead and replace anything, mute anything, or dispute it, which is what most people will do.
I do wish it was in the copyright specific section, because right now
Mm-hmm.
it's just a thing where if people are stealing your videos, you can see that and file claims, but you can't deal with your own unless it's just in the content tab. Not to say the implementation of this is bad, it's fine, it's really good. But again, it would save a click if I could just go to the copyright tab and immediately see that without having to, you know, fumble around in here.
I
I got a
agree.
lot of videos, multiple years
Yeah.
old. And if I want to deal with the claim from, 3 years back, it takes a little while.
I will say what is nice is in a lot of these sections, there is a search bar and a filter within that search bar. So you can filter out specifically which videos are public. You can filter out specifically which videos have a certain amount of views based on their title or description. And even with copyright claims, if you just want to see your videos that have copyright claims, you can click it there and it'll show you all of them. But like Aiden said, you would have to go and click on the details of each individual one, which I guess can be a little annoying.
Just saving time, that's all. Just a thing they could do. Throwing
Mm-hmm.
out suggestions there. You want to take them YouTube, they're right there. And just leaving them on the tab. You don't have to. Don't have to pay me. But, you
Yeah.
put like a little watermark that's like idea suggested by Aiden at the bottom of it. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd
You
be
know,
cool.
Susan listens to the podcast, so I'm
Absolutely.
hoping
Absolutely.
she'll take this to heart.
It, if Susan were to look up podcasts, I picture it like it's a phone book type thing, and she's going through the list, and she arrives at A, and we're probably like at least the third or fourth podcast that shows up
Yeah,
and starts
yeah.
with an A for YouTube. Maybe not the
And we
number
have
one.
we have YouTube in the title, so it's
Yeah,
like,
come on,
bro,
come on,
get
come on,
real.
Susan, come on. But let's move on now
Cool.
to the playlist tab, where you can manage all your playlists, including whether or not it's public. If you want to just edit some details, it even tells you the video count of them, which is something you couldn't do before. You can click on the new
Yeah.
playlist tab and make a new one if you want. Add videos through there. It's fairly simple. Not a whole lot of controls, especially compared to the content tab, but it sure does beat the shit out of what we had before.
It was such a pain in the ass because playlists were still in 2015 when they were trying to implement the YouTube Studio. Like, it was so old in terms of everything they did. And it's still not perfect. I still don't like that when I go to the playlist tab, I have to click on the edit button first, and then it'll pop it up, and then I can change the subscript or the description and whether it's public or private and all of that. Unlike content where you can change some of that stuff without going to a separate page, you have to go to the actual page for these, which is, it's fine. I am still glad that it's better than what it used to be because it was garbage back in the day.
And
It
even
was
now,
really
like,
bad.
when you select on playlists, not through this tab, there's like, it'll weirdly take you to just the link of said playlist. And it's like, well, no, I want to edit them. But sometimes getting to the edit menu of the playlist thing you would think would be here, but it's a different thing. There's like two or
Yeah.
three different menus for playlist, and none of them look the same. And they're all different, whether you do it through new playlist, found the edit tab, or you just clicked on it in your main channel page and tried to edit it from there, and then you have to click it again to go back to the. There's too many. There's too many different
Mm.
menus for playlist, and it's still not perfect. They've definitely gotten better about like presenting them, but in terms of like options to customize them, we could still improve this. But
I
again,
agree.
it's better.
I agree.
I won't complain too much. It's a very simple tab though, so there's not much to say.
I just realized with the Tubebuddy app, you can actually edit some of that stuff without going to the page. So that's cool.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. Maybe we'll have to get sponsored by Tubebuddy so we can do an episode on that.
There you go. Or vidIQ, if you're listening to this.
Or vidIQ.
No, don't do that. Then you can come to the inbox too. It's available to everybody, you know.
We'll take it. We'll take it from anybody. If you're a brand new one.
Yeah.
As long as you're good, like we'll take it.
100%.
Cool. But
technically, analytics is next. But given the girth of that one, we might want to like come back.
That's fair. That's fair. We can do that one next or later. Yeah. Cool. So comments. Comments are next. And similar to what Aiden said earlier, if you go to comments, it's going to automatically show you all of the comments that you haven't responded to. So this is for every channel. It automatically shows that up, which I think is cool. Like, I think that's a good thing because you should be responding to comments. I say that, and I have like way more comments here that I've never responded to than should be here. But like, you know, do better than me, right? Do as I say, not as I do. You can, like I said, with the content section, you can filter out the comments, which is really cool. If you're looking for a very specific comment, anything that contains a question, you can pop that up. If you're looking for comments that only have so many subscribers, maybe you're an elitist and you don't want Fred2578 that only has 3 subscribers to respond to their comment, then you can change it to 10 subscribers, you know? On top of that, you've also got the held for review section. These are going to be comments that are either automatically picked up by your own spam filters or by YouTube spam filters. It does a pretty good job of getting rid of everything, but I still do notice some bad comments in my published section and some good comments in the held for review. So I still recommend checking that out. If you're not getting 1,000 comments a day, you should be going to the held for review section and checking that, in my opinion.
Because sometimes I just get some really good patient comments that are just locked in there for no reason.
Because they're 3,000 pages long. That's why.
Yeah. And YouTube's like, oh, this is for some malware. Yeah. And no, it's fine. It's fine. The Tubebuddy integration on this one has gotten to the point now where like YouTube just has this stuff. Like you want to filter. Yeah. It filters. You want to show 20 results, you can go to the bottom of this and show however many results you want, and it'll load it up as you continue to scroll down. For me, I can say, doing a little bit better than Zach. The first comment that pops up that I haven't responded to is 3 years ago, and it's from Questions on the Couch, which I respond to in the next Questions on the Couch. So technically that didn't count. If you don't count that video, then it's Midnight Vlogs, the I'm 20 years old video. I did not respond to anything on that. But all my new videos, all my videos that are public, that aren't like unlisted and hidden away, I've responded to every one of those comments, even if it was 2 or 3 years later. Even if they had posted that comment and they don't know me anymore, I go back in. I'm like, this video is going to be public now. I want it to look like I care and respond to all the comments, and I do. I also occasionally really like this section for LHG stuff because we've responded to every comment on there. So I know if there's anything in that tab, I can just quickly, do them. It's like doing the dishes when there's only like 2 dishes left. It's a lot easier to do than when the whole sink is fucking full and you got to go through like 4 years of shit.
That hit hard because not only are my comment section full, but my sink is full in real life. So, that's unfortunate. Maybe I should do a answering comments live stream. Have it as a segment.
That'd be really funny.
That'd be cool. I got something just as wacky planned for tomorrow's live stream. But I feel like, I can go ahead and tell you because this is going to be uploaded on Sunday. But I'm gonna do Steam reviews and GG, the gaming equivalent of Letterboxd. I'm gonna update that and do reviews on that for like an hour. So I feel like that could be neat.
Heck we'll see. Having a fun little review time stream.
Yeah. But anyways, comment section, pretty pog. But you know what I like better than comments?
What?
Subtitles. I don't know. That's a bad
Oh,
segue.
shit.
But we do have the
Subtitles.
subtitles on here. Yeah.
That's crazy. I've been in here maybe twice.
I've never clicked on this. Never. Never
This
once.
brand new. This is brand new right here.
You know, it's cool. We're gonna do an entire episode about subtitles and captioning your videos and why it's very important. Even though we don't do it ourselves. I do it on client shit all the time, but I just don't do it on my own content at the moment. But we can talk about it. I think it's a very important thing to do. YouTube's automated system is okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay at what it does. And I got a couple of tools that we can talk about to make captioning easier. But as far as this part of the YouTube studio, it looks like it just shows all your videos. It tells you which languages you have captioned, and then if you have updated it with an actual kind of, subtitle file, it'll show you when you did that as well.
That's good. It's good to have.
I agree.
We also have a drafts and published little tab. So if you haven't finished one, it'll go there. Published one, it'll go there. Figure all that shit out. Pretty simple. Again, similar to the playlist where it's like, could there be more options here? Absolutely. Is it fine the way it is? Probably for the most part. I did see, this is kind of related, I guess, but I watch a lot of like different editing videos, even though I don't use Premiere or other things, because I'm just like, what cool new features, shit has. Can I emulate that? In Premiere, I've seen like it's a beta update, so it's nowhere near done. And they'll just have a whole thing where you have your video, you send it up to the fucking cloud, and then like in 10 or 12 minutes, depending on how long your video is, of course, they'll just give you captions straight up. Just be like, here you go. Here's your captions for your video. It's done.
Really?
And then you can just edit them. You can go to the time code. It'll tell you the time code for each line, who said each line, and then you just edit them. There's a good YouTube channel that covers it, but it's not like official yet, and it's kind of a service thing. So I don't know like what pricing is. I guess if you have like Creative Cloud, it would be fine. You just fit into that. But
you would think, but they'll still overcharge other stuff. I'll talk about that in a second. Adobe also has a audio library section in Premiere now too, where you can just pull out music clips, like an entire library. Epidemic Sound shit is in there as well, and you can just drag and drop it onto the timeline and see how it works out. You still have to go buy and purchase the rights to use that particular song.
100%.
But like it's in there, so that's pretty cool.
Resolve has a similar thing where you could put like sound effects and import your own like playlists of shit that you use often, and it'll just remember that. And you pull them up, and shit's good. Shit's really cool.
Yeah, they did have a major captioning update to Premiere itself too. It was literally last week. It was more of a pain in the ass to do anything with captions because they never worked properly. Sometimes you have to like realign things after you're dropping in an SRT file. But they got a new update and it's better. It's still got some growing pains. But I'm curious about this auto captioning thing that they have. That's
I'll send you
interesting.
A video after the podcast.
Do that because I need to look into that. And then we can talk more in depth about that kind of stuff when we do our subtitle episode in a couple weeks.
But for now, the section's fine. One of those kind of, C+, C+ section in the YouTube studio.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's move on now, though. It's a copyright. Oh, boy.
My favorite.
Like I said here, it's pretty bare bones right now. You can submit removal request if somebody just out there stealing your video, which kind of disappointed, actually, that there hasn't just been some, like, YouTuber in, like, Latin America or Spanish-speaking country that just, like, takes my video and just speak Spanish over it. Like, I'm really kind of sad that like nobody's wanted to steal my videos yet.
I'm gonna take your most recent video, copy link address. I'm gonna say that I'm copywriting it for my likeness. That's what it is.
Nice.
Nah, I know what you're talking about. That was like it was like an anime channel. I think it was like Mother's Basement a couple years ago, where they just took the entire video format and then just translated the content into Spanish.
I knew about it
And I'm
from
like,
PBG and Space Hamster. That was happening to them several years ago.
oh,
But I guess,
wonderful.
when you get big enough, that shit probably happens more often than not. But given the size me and Zach are, yeah, we've never had to file a removal request. Again, I wish it was just like, this is a cool feature to have, but like, given the size that I'm at, I would much rather prefer just like, let me see the shit that's copyrighted against me first. Thank you, please.
Yeah.
That'd be
The
nice.
wild thing is, I would like pay somebody to translate my shit into Spanish and do a voiceover for me. Like I
100%.
would just pay somebody to do that. So it's crazy that people just bootleg content and do that for free. Like I would just reach out to the original owner and be like, "Yo, I can do this service for you." I don't
The,
know.
the problem comes when it's like, people do that, and then that copy gets more views because it's to a larger audience now, and now people don't
Mm-hmm.
watch the original video anymore. And a lot of the time that shit's monetized too. Multiple ads on that. But maybe with the new monetization systems that doesn't happen as often. You would have to be like a credible enough channel to even attempt to get away with that.
Yeah. The epic thing about the copyright section is that if you don't have any copyright takedown requests, you just see an epic little kitty cat with a fishbowl.
Nothing to
So
see
that's
yet.
cool.
That's
He
there's a
cute.
similar thing I get when you when I believe you finish all the comments and you clear that tab. It's like a girl on the beach or whatever. It's like, you're all good or whatever.
Really
Yeah, I've seen that several times
interesting.
on the LHG one. There's less comments there.
Cool. The next tab, channel monetization.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately for both of us, not a whole lot here.
Mm.
It has a couple guys planting a tree, and it says grow with YouTube. As a YouTube partner, you'll be able to earn money, and then it tells you the YouTube partner program, requirements. You got to have 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers, and then it shows you your progress on that. So currently, I have 958 subscribers and 730 watch hours. My bad.
I'm at 379 subs and 128 public watch hours, but I also haven't like uploaded in a month, so there's
Yeah,
that.
I will check mood. It also is over the past year. That's not your overall watch
Oh,
hours.
it does say that.
So
You're right.
that's just the past year. I wish it was overall because I would have it. I do want to check a monetized channel right quick because I'm curious if anything is different. I've got
Just some
access to
examples.
client content, so I'm gonna look at. Okay, so the monetization tabs. If you are a partner, it has an overview section where you can see like they're gonna send you to support Google, uh, kind of articles on the advertising side of things, the merchandise, memberships, and super chat. And then there's like some more, more like important stuff about like if you want to leave the YouTube partner program, here you go, I guess. Here's your agreements, that kind of thing. There's a merchandise section. So if you want to make merchandise inside your YouTube channel, you can do that. You can set up a membership section. So there's analytics for that, shows you what kind of revenue you're working with over the last month, recent comments by your members, and then also your badges and your emotes. Similar to if you're a Twitch affiliate or partner, you have a
Right.
lot of that stuff in Twitch. You can also change what your membership offers and the monthly price and that kind of thing. You've got the super chat section, which will show you all of your most recent super chats. And then there's a giving section, which looks like if you want to do a fundraiser for a nonprofit or something, you can do that on here. I've seen bigger videos, bigger channels do like this video, all of the ad revenue is going to be going to this particular charity. So it's kind of cool that YouTube has that in here.
Right. You can set up that option. I think most recent example, you remember those if the Star Wars prequels were good videos. They were done
Yeah.
by Michael Bairdy, who now works on the Completionist team as kind of a producer or whatever. If you go back to
I've
those,
seen that.
if you go back to those videos now, and they weren't like this originally, but now they all have that little fundraiser tab, and they all that shit goes to support, I believe, Black Lives Matter, and it'll show you like the progress of
Cool.
donated stuff to there, which is cool because he didn't make content anymore, and those are his like most viewed videos, so might as well use it for a good cause, that type of stuff.
I agree. Yeah, that's dope.
Neat. So it does seem like there's a bit more options there. Like it's pretty fleshed out for the type of stuff you need.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, we'll talk about more monetization stuff as we grow our own channels and as we grow the podcast and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that, I guess. Eventually,
Episode
one day.
533 of another YouTube podcast. You can finally cover it there. So get
Hell
hyped.
yeah.
Now, onto perhaps my favorite tab. Yeah, my favorite tab. This is my favorite. Analytics number 2. Customization, my favorite tab. What is customization? So, let me take you back. Again, the dark ages. 2010, right?
I was going to say 2019 because it wasn't that long ago.
I'm going even further back. So
okay, yeah, go for it.
I'm going even further back before that, you know, like actually, if we really want to go far back, if you go to like beginnings of YouTube, similar to how Twitch has it now, you could like make your own custom background and like have your channel and stuff. So there always was some customization stuff to your channel. But obviously YouTube wants all these things to look more uniform and have options, and so you can't have backgrounds and stuff. So in recent years, if you wanted to customize and update your channel, you had to do it on your channel page, which doesn't make sense at all. It's called the back end because you want to be able to literally edit stuff in the back, some front end shit. And I get that, like, oh, well, maybe you would want to see how it looks in real time, so they give you that option. But the options that were there weren't good, and they always took forever to update, and they still do now. And then YouTube was like, yo, let's just make all this shit way simpler, and let's just offer a customization tab, which means you can finally, just in the back end, set your channel trailer, your featured video for returning subscribers, and the sections. Sections can be anything from playlist, a group of playlists, YouTube shorts like Zach mentioned earlier when they decide to update, a featured channels section that you can update pretty easily. You can move the positioning of them anytime you want. And then we have 2 other tabs, branding, which used to be locked away. I think you had to click on the account settings and then update that shit in Google. Like there's
it's
like
so
Google tab. But now, if you want to change your profile pic, you do it right here. You want to change your banner? You do it right here. You want to change the watermark and the custom start time? It's right here. So much better. And it even tells you, like, hey, use a PNG. Have it be 4 megabytes or less. Here's the size we recommend. That type of shit. And then the final tab, basic info. Also, very fucking handy, IMO. This is where you can have your channel description and things like your custom URL. If you've hit over 100 subscribers, please, for the love of God, use a custom URL. Because nobody wants to share www.youtube.com/channel UCUML1BX6MHMQQ-WY-QPQUQ. That was mine. It's miserable. Or youtube.com/BlueCouchProductions. See how much nicer that is? See how much easier that is to link to things? Kyle. Anyway, we have a link.
Kyle he didn't have one?
It's like not the same as what his channel name is. And it's bad. It's always a pain in the ass.
Chaos Lamric.
Yeah.
Epic.
I think Parker updated his recently. I was about to clown on him, but I think it used to be dumb too.
That's good.
Anyway, we have a link section. I have things like my Discord, Twitter, Anchor, and then it'll show pretty much the first 5 on the banner, but you can change that option if you want to just the first 2 or the first one. And then a contact info for business inquiries, whether that's just the email you use for YouTube or a different one, it's up to you. But when I'm talking about like, hey, YouTube channels should update their about section because it's important and not too many people do it. This is where you find it. It's under basic info and customization. For the love of God, if you have not set a custom URL, if you don't have your links up to date, if you don't have a little pitch about what your channel is and why people should care, this is my number one thing you can do right now to fix it. Fix your branding, fix your layout, update it, make it look all nice and pretty. Because you'd be surprised if you just leave this shit open. Like a lot of bad music channels just don't have anything on their homepage. So I go over there and it's a mess and I can't find their videos or playlists. YouTube will just look like ass if you don't use any of this stuff. Make life easier on yourself and use this stuff. I'm so happy with how this tab turned out.
It's so much better. I used to have the customized background back in 2012.
Use?
I made a custom background. It was just like black, and then I had a bunch of video game characters on the left and the right.
Hell yeah.
So,
Hell yeah.
Pretty epic if I do say so myself. But yeah, no, I'm very happy with how this is because it's so much better. You can still do a lot of that customization on the channel itself. There is a customized channel button. But actually I'm capping.
It takes you
I
here.
am lying. It just takes you here now. Good.
Yeah, as it should.
Awesome. I like that. I did want to say real quick, the YouTube Shorts section only shows up on the YouTube app. So there's a little I button that says this section is only visible in the YouTube app. So if I go to my channel on the YouTube app, I do have a short section on there. So that's cool.
Yeah. And you can add multiple sections. I didn't cover all of them, but you can have one that's just uploads. You can have one that's just popular videos. Live now, that's interesting. So I guess if you just go live, you'll have that. Upcoming live streams, past live streams, multiple playlists. This was something I didn't know how to do until recently. But like if you have a bunch of different playlists together and you want them organized, just makes a little section right there that's easy to get to. I only have like 3 series at this point, so it's just easier to just do them separately. But if I had a lot of different playlists I wanted to share, there you go. If I had to call out a channel that could use a lot of this featured section and playlist stuff better, my man Gerard really could take just like a little bit of time, because it's a fucking mess.
I agree.
Currently, I just want to watch New Game Plus, and I got to dig through superhero games, Lego games, Zelda games. Like, there's not even a playlist with just all the completionist episodes. If you wanted to watch it from like start to finish, you can't even find that shit. And I get it. New Game Plus is a thing. It wouldn't exactly be in order currently, the way it's at. And maybe he's waiting. I don't know. But as it stands now, there's 50 playlists, and there's only 1 or 2 that I want, and I can't find it. So.
Yeah, you can definitely go overboard on the playlists, which is, I mean, I used to do that. And one of the things that I had before the shorts came in was a section that had multiple playlists called franchises. And so I'd have my individual, like, here's my Mega Man reviews, here's my Final Destination reviews, here's all of that, but I don't have room for it anymore. So it's like, it's fine. But you can have up to 10 of these sections, and so use them wisely so that people know exactly what to look for. I separate them by mediums of things that I cover. So I have like a movie reviews, I have an anime reviews, I have a video game reviews, TV show reviews, music reviews, and they're all in alphabetical order so that you can get to them pretty quickly.
If it has a title card and it has a playlist, basically.
Right.
So, and featured channels thing is a cool thing to have too, by the way. Like, it's not technically a playlist, but given how much shit me and Zach do, it used to be kind of a pain in the ass where it's like, I just want to get to Lions Honor Gaming. Well, how do I do that? I can either try and search it and don't find it, but nowadays it's just much easier if I don't have the link on hand. Just go to Zach's channel, feature channel, click, we're there. All right, cool.
Yeah, since that channel doesn't have 100 subs, we don't have the branding link. Yeah. But we should push. We should push for 100 subs this year just so that we can do.
We're like at 80 or some shit. We're really close.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for sure if we did like a
live
stream and like did like a Smash or Pokemon thing, we just get random people to fucking sub that shit real quick.
That'd be cool. We should. I don't know. There's a lot we could do with that channel that just doesn't happen because we're so busy with other stuff.
Which does kind of tie into the playlist thing, because how we use them in LHG is a little bit different. There's a lot of them. One could argue too much, but we have one for every series, basically. So if we played a game on the channel, the playlist will not only tell you the game, but like, let's say you're not familiar with the core cast yet, you know, that's fair. The playlist will even say like GeoGuessr with Jay and Parker, Mario Odyssey Versus with blah, 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 blah. And you have those, but also, I'm not a fucking savage. There's all the videos chronologically released in one playlist. So if you just want to watch all of them, that's probably the best way to support us, actually, because autoplay will stop after a while. So if you're just like, hey, I want to support LHG, check out the all LHG videos playlist. It's like up to 300 fucking videos at this point. You want to give us some watch time? There you go.
Play it while you're going to sleep. Just put us on mute.
YouTube podcast has the same thing.
Go from there.
YouTube podcast has the same thing.
True. We also have, for those that are wondering about the YouTube podcast YouTube channel, if you want to see the episodes by year, we have all of the episodes by year. So we have 2021, 2020, 2019, 18, and 17. And then we have one with every single episode. So if you're looking for specific years, you want to go back in the chronicles of Zach and Aden's YouTube adventure, that's the best way to do it.
I really like that you started doing that, because that wasn't a thing I had an idea for, but you started categorizing them that way, and it's like, oh, this is going to be so much easier when I want to go back and relive a combo. Just like, oh, I want to go to this year. Cool. What was Aiden thinking? Let's find out. But yeah, I love the customization tab, and there's a lot of cool things you can do with it. I'd recommend experimenting with it too. Like, don't have the same channel trailer forever. Definitely change the featured video for returning subs if you have something you're really proud of. And mess with sections, mess with playlists, update your branding, and especially update your About page if you have not already. Final call out on that. Update your About page if you haven't already.
Please.
Let's move on.
Audio library. We're not going to talk about this much, but YouTube has an entire section of royalty-free music and sound effects. So if you want that kind of stuff, you can get all kinds of stuff. Some of it is like good. Some of it is probably not good. I'll be honest with you, I hadn't really fucked with it, but like, you're looking for royalty-free background music that you don't want to pay for. It's all here. Or you can just use Stream Beats. Stream Beats is pretty good.
Epidemic Sounds, pretty pog.
Epidemic Sounds is good, but you have to pay for that. So
True. You even get the option to download them, because I think before it was just like you could add it in the YouTube editor, but not like have it for yourself. Now you can just download it. It'll even tell you the license type, genre. You can filter through that pretty quickly. And even if you don't use the songs, I bet there's something in sound effects that's funny for a video. So.
Yeah. Sound effects are something that I need quite often for certain things. I'm sure there's, check out Whoosh. You know, Whoosh. That's kind of bad, but I'm sure you can find something.
There's like 1,800 whooshes you can find on YouTube, even if those don't suit
True.
you. And you can even have a start section, so if there's something you really like and you use often, it can help kind of get through all this fucking clutter. Just star the songs you like and go from there. And put it into something like Premiere and Resolve to even have it all in your editing program for later if you need it. That being said, though, in terms of like copyright-free music stuff, we have talked about it before. This is probably like one of the last options. Like if you have no other choice kind of deal.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some good shit in here. You just really would have to search for it. And I find things like Stream Beats or Epidemic Sounds or there's one called Artlist that I also use. They usually have better selections. But it's all personal taste. Find stuff that works for you when you have the chance.
I agree. Real quick, before we hop back into analytics, I want to briefly talk about the final two tabs. We'll start real quick with send feedback. Shit ain't working. You have a bug? Use this tab, bro. There's a little include screenshot button, and you can just send it directly to YouTube. I've never used it before, but hey, could be helpful to somebody. Settings is far more important. And it was a thing that, again, you kind of had to like click on your channel and click settings and then go through there. But I recommend like going through this real quick. So general, default units, currency, change that to whatever you use. And then for channel, this is some of the things that actually should be on customization, but they kind of hide it here. Your channel name, your country of residence, your keywords for your channel, not for your videos, but for your channel. I have just 3 things because I don't know if that shit really works. But I just have gaming reviews and Blue Couch Productions. I could probably add more
helpful. To that. It's helpful for YouTube to kind of figure out what your channel is really about so they can serve it to the right audience.
There you go. Then we have advanced settings. If you remember how we talked about COPA stuff, this is where you would go to change, yes, this channel is made for kids, or no, it's not. I will actually have something new to say about this. Do not click, I want to review this setting for every video. It is a bad choice. And I only say that because a channel I've watched recently, Fudge, had this option selected. And what it would mean is he'd have to review it for every setting. And when he would change it to no, because of course none of his videos would end up being that way, YouTube would still not push it out because it didn't update fast enough for that type of shit. And so it's just better off to like have it one or the other and then update it after the fact rather than clicking the I want to review every setting, because that has cost him recommendations and views in the past. And it's kind of a shame because you would think that would be the safe option to use, but YouTube doesn't treat it that way.
Unless you really do make content for kids occasionally, I would keep that completely turned off.
We both have it at no, even on LHG, even on YouTube podcasts. If you want an option and don't know, probably just go with no for now. It's easy. Then we got auto-generated captions. You can click to not show potentially inappropriate words. This is where, also, if you wanted to display your sub count or not, some channels choose not to. Here's where it would be. Ads, you can disable interest-based ads. I don't know why on earth you would do that. You would just get horrible things. And then feature eligibility. So if you don't have things like, I don't know, the ability to live stream, here's where you would enable that feature. This is also how you get videos longer than 15 minutes, custom thumbnails, appealing content ID claims. It's basically just going to ask you to verify your phone number. Most people just like don't know that this is just a thing. So if you're one of those channels or you're brand new and you haven't done that before, just go ahead, verify that. Even if you don't plan on live streaming, definitely do it for custom thumbnails and videos longer than 15 minutes. What are we, a savage? Like, come on, get that. Yeah. Get that enabled. Get that enabled.
Please do custom thumbnails. Please don't let YouTube auto pick that.
Shit's bad. And it's really easy to enable it. And it takes no time. But it's in settings, not in customization, like it probably should be.
It's funny though. I have so many YouTube channels that like sometimes I have to just like borrow a phone number in order to get a new. If I have a new channel that I need to verify, I just have to like get somebody else's phone number. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, that can be a little annoying. Then we got upload defaults. I don't use this for the title at all, just because I have 3 different series and I can't just, you never know what my title is going to be. I don't know until way late into it. But I do have the auto descriptions, especially the bottom part where I have the all songs featured, all my links. It's there for every video. I don't have to worry about it. Tubebuddy technically has this, but it's just easier to do it here. Visibility, public. If you have tags that you use for every video and you don't want to fucking type them in every time, this is where you put it. Shit's super useful. I only have 2 things on here, which are the 2 tags that do the best for me. Again, probably could do better, but it's just Blue Couch and Blue Couch Productions. So
yeah, have your everyday nerd on there. Now I just put it on there. But
then we got an advanced setting tab. So if there's a category you use every time, I just keep it on entertainment. For LHG, it's set to gaming, and then you got to fill in the game every time. But I just keep it on entertainment. Video languages, comments, if you want to hold potentially inappropriate ones, this is where you set it. If you just want to allow fucking everything, this is where you set it. Then we got permissions. So LHG and YouTube Podcast is really useful for this, because let's say I want to edit something and I'm not like the owner of the account and I don't want to mess with emails. You can just invite people to be managers and give them specific permissions. I don't have anything like that for Blue Couch Productions, because I don't trust none of y'all motherfuckers. Y'all can't have my channel.
I think we have it set up for LHG, don't we?
LHG, and I
Okay.
think YouTube podcast, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I have it set up for you so that you can get into YouTube podcasts.
But that's helpful if you hate logging in multiple times.
It's really good if you work with other people. Like I have access to multiple client YouTube channels because they went in here and made me like a manager. So if you work with people and you want them to like get into your YouTube account, go ahead and do this instead of just giving them your login info, because not only is it safer in case you don't trust the person 100%, it's also just easier because especially if you have like two-step verification turned on, it can be a pain in the ass to like call or text somebody and be like, yo, what number did you get on your phone?
Yeah,
I need to put it in my in the YouTube thing.
Done that before. It's a fun time. It's a real fun time.
Yep.
Got 2 more categories left. Community. So if you have mods for live streams, that's where you would set this up. I also have people who are just, blocked in general. Which is surprisingly bigger than I thought, but I guess I did a lot more live streaming back in the day, so there's more channels on here that are just blocked. You can add block words if you want to block links for your live stream and comments and stuff. This is where you would do it. And then defaults, again, the comment thing, and even for the discussion tab. I don't know if any of y'all motherfuckers use the discussion tab, but if you want to disable comments for that and you're like, fuck it, set it here. Don't have to worry about it ever again. And the same is true for live chat. And then finally, agreements. All use of the service is subject to YouTube's terms of service. And you can click learn more. That's crazy. We're not going to talk about it. But that's it. A lot of people don't mess with the settings tab because they're like, what good could be there? Light mode or dark mode? Like, no, there's actually some really good time-saving shit in here that people just don't notice. And so now, hopefully, if you're listening to this and you didn't know some of these things were a thing, they're there in settings. I have to do it on YouTube podcasts, LHG, anytime we make a new channel. Because if I forget about it makes things way more complicated.
I agree. Yo, Aiden, we're going to do a episode on the terms of service. We're going to read the whole thing.
Oh, boy.
I'm joking. That'd be awesome.
Sounds epic, Zach. That sounds wonderful. That'd be the first YouTube podcast live stream. Zach and Aiden.
That's what I was going to say. We'd have to do a live stream for that. Yeah, 100%.
4 hours.
The shit long.
Yeah, it's horrible.
To the extent permitted by applicable law, you agree to defend. Like, cool. Thanks, YouTube.
And now,
no one cares.
For the moment you've all been waiting for, probably the reason you clicked on this, an episode topic we probably should have done over just YouTube Studio. It's time to talk about analytics, baby. We're here.
You know, we've held off doing the analytics episode so long that it turned into the YouTube Studio episode. That's what it is.
Yep.
It's exactly what happened.
100%.
But yeah, channel analytics. Got a couple of tabs, all of them important for different reasons. But let's go over the overview first. Start off with, you go on there, it'll tell you how many views you got in the last 28 days. It'll also tell you your watch time and your subscribers in the last 28 days. You can change these analytics based on the upper right hand side to show you specific last 7 days, 90 days, last year, lifetime, or you can have a little custom time frame. It also tells you in real time how many views you're getting. If you just like uploaded a video or something, it'll give it to you in the last hour. It'll tell you your live subscriber count, which if you hit see live count, I think that takes you to the new subscriber overgrowth thing. Yeah. So that's cool. Kind of that social blade thing we were talking about earlier. You've got your views in the last 48 hours. It shows you your top videos. And then it'll also show you top videos in the last 28 days. You can see specifically your top 10, how they're performing in terms of view duration and views. And then if you want to go to your latest videos, you can see how they're doing as well without going to the content section. So that's cool.
Zach, I have a game for you, a challenge, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guess what my top video in this period, last 28 days, could be?
It's probably the Kitty Bobo video.
You're right. You're right again, Zachary. Despite the fact that I continue to make new videos, every time I come to this stupid fucking page, Kitty Bobo video right back up there, 20 views in this period. That's more than my newest video. That's more than the past 2 combined. Like, it's insane. Although, view duration went up to 3 minutes. It was a lot lower.
Oh, okay, there you go. There you go.
We're actually getting past the depression joke at the beginning. But
yeah.
Since that video has come out, it has stayed at the top of this top videos in this.
1,000 views, man. 1,000 views.
My Mavis Beacon, for sure.
Can you guess what my top video is in the last 28 days? Yeah.
Onion. Okay.
This might be tough.
Is it a public video?
Yeah, it's public.
Okay. Because that eliminates a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Without going to Yin to like check, because I feel like that's cheating, I'm gonna say one of the Final Destination videos.
No, those are all private.
They're all privated? Okay, give me one more guess.
Yeah. Go for it. It's crazy because I am still getting comments on this video pretty regularly. And I've got a 51% on my average view duration for this video.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe the first episode in that Scooby-Doo video.
I wish. But no. That video ain't even in the top 10. What to know before you play Dark Souls Remastered?
Damn, it wasn't even a yen. Shit.
It wasn't even a yen. This video is my most viewed public video right now. 8.1k views. I still like this video. I still think it turned out really good. So if anybody is in the gaming space and wants some really high performing types of videos, just make videos where you talk about what you should know before you play certain game. Even if it's an old game, people might still watch it. It's insane. I've thought about making more of these. I have, because they do so fucking well.
It's a good idea. It's an easy type of content that's like searchable and people will watch. And it got Dark Souls in the title. Dark Souls video in my top 10. So
Dark Souls. Yeah. This might actually be a thing I do a little bit more, because I don't have to be in front of the camera for this bitch either. Bro,
yeah, boy. Probably easy to edit.
Yeah.
That's cool. The point of the analytics tab, by the way. As we're saying all these things, our numbers are going to be different from your numbers. But the whole reason that this tab is a thing is to give you data and to use that data to make decisions on what you should make next. So that moment that Zach just had of like, oh, maybe I should do this, you wouldn't have had that aha if YouTube didn't like just give you the data right in front of you and like, look at this view duration, look at these views. If you're ever at a point where you're like, I don't know what to make next, or I don't know how these videos are doing compared to each other, if all you see is views, that doesn't give you a very good idea. This is the tab to go to.
Right. Keep in mind that like it's really dope that YouTube gives you all of these analytics, but like learning how to decipher them and compare them and then pull new ideas from them, that's a whole art in its own. That is really what people talk about when they're talking about trying to figure out the YouTube algorithm. It's not about the way YouTube, figures everything out. It's about how you take what's given to you and then transform it into your content.
I know this is probably a bigger topic in and of itself that we'll probably might cover or we've already covered before. But just for this episode, what are some metrics you think that are important to look out for if people have like never been here before and they're trying to like, what do all these fucking numbers mean? What are some good ones to look at?
Yeah. So for the main one is click-through rate.
Right.
And I'll go ahead and say on the second tab in analytics, it's reach. This is going to show you click-through rate. We'll go through it in a minute. But yeah, click-through rate is number one to me, because you got to have people click on the video first. And then after, like we said earlier, once you see what that percentage is, figure out how you can get it higher with a better thumbnail and a better title and better tags, all that kind of stuff. After that, I actually want to see things like my traffic source, where my views are coming from. So if a lot of my percentage of views are coming from YouTube search, then that means that my SEO is good on that video and that I can potentially make more videos about that topic or surrounding that topic, and it'll do just as well.
Yep.
Also, if you're getting a lot of percentage from suggested videos, I have a video about Seinfeld that did really well when it came out because it was kind of a reply to the React channel with the Fine Bros. So I got a lot of traffic from that. So if I wanted to, I could check and see what they're doing, what the React channel is doing new, and try to make another video surrounding that. I don't really want to, but it's there. I think after that, I'm checking on view duration, which is going to be in the engagement tab. Again, we'll talk about it. But you want to see how long are people staying for your videos, right?
Important.
If they're clicking off in the first 30 seconds, then that click-through rate's important. Getting people in the door is important, but you got to get them to stay there too. And that's where it comes down to making good content to begin with.
Pacing too. Like making sure it flows well in a video.
It's not easy. It's hard. But
very.
Once you figure out your style and your type of content that you want to make, then you can start figuring out the pacing and trying to get it down to, getting people to stay as long as possible. Your target audience, right?
Right.
After that, it just really comes down to, I'd say like watch hours on a video and then views on a video, just to see what your best performing videos are so that you know what to do more of.
But that's at the end for a reason, because you want to be sure the other shit beforehand. So impressions,
right.
Traffic source, view duration, views, watch hours.
Yeah, order. I'd put watch hours over views, but yeah.
Watch hour, views in that order. There we go.
Yeah.
And that information is pretty easily accessible, and we've talked about before on the podcast how you can make those numbers better, but I feel like Zach did a really good job of describing it. Click-through rate, title and thumbnail, view duration, pacing, watch hours. Make good content. You really just say make good content about all of them, but if you're trying to boost a specific thing, that's not really helpful. Anyway, thank you for answering that question. Let's get back on track with the reach tab.
Yeah, reach. This is your impressions. This is your click-through rate. So what's really cool is they show you this funnel graphic, and it starts at the very top and it says, here are all the impressions you're getting. So over the last 28 days, and by the way, if you go to the advanced mode on the top here, you can click on individual videos and see all of this data for individual videos. So
right.
That's pretty good. But it shows you this graphic where at the top it shows you the impressions. Right now, over the last 28 days, I got 9,000 impressions. And then it tells me that 9.2% of that is coming from YouTube recommending my content. So that's literally just from being recommended on the sidebar, on the watch page, or on the home page. So that's pretty cool. That's 9.2% of work that I'm not even doing. Like that. After that, your impressions turn into clicks. So it says that I have a 4.8% click-through rate, which means that I'm getting 462 direct views from those impressions. And then it tells me how much my average view duration is, which right now is 3 minutes and 45 seconds. And then it'll tell you the watch time from your impressions. So I've gotten 28.96 hours of watch time in the last 28 days, strictly based on the impressions.
What I like about the graph so much is it gives you these numbers, but the funnel shape implies how they're connected to each other. That it's not just 1.8K impressions, 7.1% from YouTube recommending your content. It's how those impressions then lead to the next step of click-through rate, and how click-through rate gets you views, and how views gets you view duration, and how view duration leads into watch time. Basically, literally taking that chart that you just said without traffic source included, because it's literally right next to it, and like literally funneling it down from how it does at the top all the way to the bottom in any particular period. And that kind of gives you an overall standing. But like you said, advanced mode, if you just wanted to compare videos to each other or kind of lean it in on a specific period of time, that might be more helpful for you. But no, I think this funnel is really good at kind of like visually does a lot of the work of making this shit make sense if you've never heard of this shit before.
Yeah, 100%.
Speaking of traffic source, we also got that shit right over to the left. Last 28 days for me, YouTube search is at the top, 39.2%, followed by channel pages, 36.7%, browse features at 11%, external at 5%, direct and unknown at 2%, and others at 5.1%. You can even click on see more, which kind of brings up that advanced menu again. Remember, not that long ago on the podcast when Aden made that like little tweet where I was like, hey, you know, what happens if you don't like really market your channel, and how I brought up the fact that like YouTube does a lot of that shit for you. This is what I mean. 39.2 YouTube search, 5.1 external. That external is Discord. That external is Twitter, direct or unknown, or others. It might even file it under that. However you want to boil that down. The point is, the YouTube search, the channel pages, and the browse features, the features that are built into YouTube for a channel my size, and like Zach said, pretty much any size, these are the way people are going to find you. This is how you grow. It's not contingent on the people that are already following you elsewhere, but how many people you're able to bring in. And so it is far more important to be sure that search and channel pages and browse features are doing better than shit like external or direct unknown, until you've reached a certain point where it doesn't fucking matter. Obviously, PewDiePie, do what you want. Cool.
Right.
If you're growing and you're trying to grow, that kind of sheds a little bit more light when Aden was talking about like, hey, maybe, you know, YouTube marketing is the best sort of marketing. And now you can see why.
It's cool because if you go to your traffic source for external, it'll tell you every single place somebody has found your video. I have a lot of weird ones because the channel's been going for a few years, but like one of the interesting things for me right now is 23.9% of my external views, which equals up to 3,400 views, are coming directly from Google search.
Yep.
So that's kind of crazy.
Google search the biggest on mine too.
So you can go in there and you can figure out exactly where your views are coming from. That way you can both enhance those, but then also work on the other shit, right? So very important to go back here, figure out how your channel is doing, right? Figure out how your
100%.
videos are doing, because we can talk about our numbers all day, but they're not going to translate to what you need to do for your channel.
I also just recognized on this traffic source for playlist thing, the playlist that's mentioned here is titled "My Homies at Their Best." I'm like, I don't remember that. What is that? So I've never heard of this playlist before. This is the first time I've seen this.
Who is it? Whose is it?
I have to click on advanced and then go to it. It's Calfro.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a Calfro playlist.
That's cool. Oh, I'm in there too. I got 11 views from it. That's really cool. Yeah.
I thought that was you, but no, that makes a lot more sense.
No, your Kitty Bobo video is in there. I got my Billy the Giraffe video. This is cool. Yeah, there's some really neat shit in here. So this is cool.
Thanks, Calfro. You snuck your way into the episode.
Thanks, Calfro. My most viewed playlist, at least in the last 28 days, is it's called Telecharger La Legend du Grand Judo Film Complete in France VF HD 1943. I don't know why, but it's a bunch of movies, and my Sanshiro Sugata Akira Kurosawa review is just number 3 on this playlist.
That's nuts.
So that's cool. I'm also in the playlist for popular videos for that movie. That's so good. I'm number 2 on that. Yeah. I need to make more of these fucking videos, dude. I gotta talk about Akira Kurosawa more, because if I can get views.
They doing numbers. My old Charlie Brown video, the Halloween one, got passed around in one of those sort of playlists that they kind of put a bunch of those videos in. And that's really cool. Where, like, people underestimate, I think, the power of playlists. It's like, yes, have your own, obviously. Make sure that shit's well organized. But really, where you get a lot of views coming in is not from your own playlist, but from people like that who make their own, who expose their audience to a new form of content. Hell, there's that big infamous YouTube playlist of, like, what, meme videos that's, like, several hours
most interesting
long.
Playlists.
I bet for 90% of those videos, all the views they got are probably from that playlist. I'm willing to
bet. Yeah. I watched that playlist for a live stream a couple of years ago. Did the whole thing. It was crazy. I mean, there's an entire, like, YouTube philosophy of, like, being a curator alongside being a creator and, like, literally making playlists of shit that you're interested in and putting your videos within that playlist if it makes sense. So if you don't have that many videos or that many different kind of categories of playlists that you can make, it could be a good idea to, like, find some of your favorite videos that relate to your content and making a playlist out of them, because you might get more views from it. Yeah.
Pay it forward. Might as well. That's pretty much it for the reach tab. There's, like, a suggested videos and traffic source YouTube search, but they're all self-explanatory. No surprise. Kitty Bobo at the top of that shit. Kill me.
Yeah.
But let's move on to engagement. Let's talk about engagement.
So, you know, if reach was how many people are finding your videos and clicking on them, engagement are after the people click on the videos, how are they engaging with it? So we've got our watch time per hours, right? We got our average view duration. How long are they staying there for? That's important. Again, you can click on each individual video's analytics page and see specifically when people dropped off on your videos. So I would recommend doing that, especially for your most popular videos, so that you know what works and what doesn't. Underneath that, we've got our top videos. These are by watch time hours, not views. So, you know, watch time is important. Top videos by in-screen. So you can see your in-screen clicks. I only have one of those that has, like, an in-screen click. So that's cool. Top playlists. So it looks like my top playlist over the last 28 days is just my popular uploads. So popular uploads still works. People will click on that a good bit. All time, it's my Final Destination playlist that's not even public anymore. That's crazy.
Sick.
Cool. And then you can also see your top in-screen element types. So for all time, my top is video, and then it's, like, best for viewer, most recent upload, playlist, and channel. And then you can see top cards. So, you know, YouTube has little cards that you can click on. Mine are unknown, so I don't know. I don't know what those are, but that's cool.
I got zeros on all of them.
Yeah. Smaller channels, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of in-screen clicks and card clicks and all that kind of stuff. We probably should talk about in-screens and cards in their own episode at some point.
I don't know. Philosophy on it currently, and this is all I have to say until we decide to do an episode, or not. It might not be interesting enough. I don't know. But my philosophy on in-screens and cards, it is not for new people watching your video. It's for diehard people, in my opinion. Because most people just click on the recommended, right? They want to find the video they want, or autoplay takes them, or they scroll to the end, and that little, like, you know how YouTube shows, like, 8 or so videos that you can click on after a video is over? They'll use that as well. A lot of the time, at least according to my own behavior, my own research, if I'm clicking on an end screen or a card, it's because I'm already invested in a channel and I want more of the same stuff. But usually at that point, I'm already subbed. It's just quicker to use the end cards and top cards to get to the next video, as opposed to using the channel page and trying to scroll through it and find it. For, like, new people and a lot of that shit, for me, it's just easier to click on recommended and other things. Not to say that they don't work. And again, bad sample size here, right? Like a 300 sub channel, obviously. Maybe it's different. From my own data, it's a thing that makes me happy organizationally, and it's a future planning thing than it is like it's getting me anything currently.
Yeah. I mean, I I mean, personally, my own behavior, I click the subscribe button underneath the videos if I'm going to subscribe to somebody rather than an end card. I very rarely will click on an end card. And that's kind of why there's a philosophy of, more recent one, of not having your end card be the entire last 20 seconds of the video.
Yeah.
But again, we could talk about that another time. And then cards, I usually will only click on a card if it's like a video that I didn't know existed and looks super interesting. So have those cards be related to the content you're talking about. And I think you could really get some people down the right rabbit holes if you've got a bulk, a good library of videos and you can reference them in creative and interesting ways. Like that could help you a lot.
I use cards for my for 2 playlists basically. So a minute in, you get Want More Great Content, which is usually back to the video games, and then the second one 10 minutes in if it's that long. Here's some more stuff, which could be like 30 for 30 or Blue Couch Originals or whatever. I'll pick 2 of my 3 playlists, and depending on what I'm going to prioritize more, I'll switch them out. Does that shit work for me? Again, like, no. Like, if I barely click on end screens, I click on cards even less. Like, that shit's even lower. But hell, like, if it catches somebody off guard and they're like, ooh, what's that? And they click on it and they watch like a playlist of 10 videos and they're satisfied, that's awesome. And I couldn't have got that any other way. But like, am I seeing results from it? No, not at all. But do it anyway. Like, it takes very little time to do it. I do it every time I upload a new video. And YouTube will just recommend an end screen anyway. So if you really don't want to like try, fine. And then you can just use the same template over and over and over again. Cool.
The last time I used cards was for my favorite things of 2019, because I still got to do my 2021. 2019, I had like individual videos about some of the things I was talking about in the video. So I was able to quickly put a card up. And that's pretty cool. Like, I'm glad it's there. So,
heck yeah. I will say, last thing on the engagement tab, I really do like the key moments for audience retention thing. I got my Over the Garden Wall video on there currently, and not only does it like show all that stuff, but the little chart at the bottom of like key points of like a lot of people still watching after 30 seconds, but then it gradually goes down, which is normal, right? Like, you can't expect everybody to stay around, but it's not like drastic. That's the thing that helps when you're looking at audience retention, is not so much does it stay up the entire time, when does it spike? When does it dip? What are the anomalies? Because if you can find those moments, you're like, oh, this is clearly working, or oh god, I shouldn't do that again, right? Are your jokes landing? Are your points landing? Are people clicking off because of it, etc.? I'm usually not the type of person that cares if it's just like a flat line, because that didn't tell me nothing. Most people click off after 30 seconds, right? Like, that's normal. And I guess another thing we should probably mention with all this analytics stuff is, like, keep in mind, me and Zach are at a certain size, and while there is data, we can't 100% draw conclusions on every little thing simply because the sample size is not as big. So if you're even smaller than us, and if you're just starting out, and you're comparing like, oh, well, this video had a 34%, and this one had a 33%, but you average 5 views per video, like, you need to make more stuff, right? That's not going to help you. This type of stuff 100%. Is really only going to, like, get to the point where you do it for a long time, improve, and when videos pop off or fail, that type of stuff.
I don't even recommend bothering with your analytics until you've made like 100 videos. Like seriously, I don't think you're going to get a whole lot out of it. And even like Aden said, like, I can't even discern everything from my analytics, because if a video just came out and you got 20 views on it, like, sure, that might be your channel average, but the click-through rate and the percentages and all that kind of stuff are not going to be that crazy because it only got shown to 100 people in that first hour, right? You really, like, some of my most popular videos, they didn't even get there until months later. So unless you're in that
bigger YouTuber kind of area.
Yeah, I'd say after 10,000 subs, you can start looking at things, and it can be important. For getting hundreds of thousands of views per video, then you can start discerning things. But it's like it's hard to do that if you're smaller.
I only recommend it for me and you because we've been doing it for several years, and you can get a good idea of how video does if it's been up for 3 or so years and stuff.
Right.
And
Right.
both me and you have had videos that have popped off before, and there's lessons to take away from that. If you're so early in the game where you're not even at that point yet, and you're like first year, no video popped off, you're just trying, like, don't stress out. Don't stress out over it. The data
Mm.
you would find there is not going to be good enough to make short-term decisions or long-term ones. You really have to give it like at least 6 months to a year before you're going to find anything worth a grain of salt to take insight from. Which is why you got to figure out if you like it to begin with. You know, it's part of what we talk about in this podcast.
Definitely. But the last category in channel analytics is the audience. This is where you're going to see your subscribers. So you're going to see how many subscribers you got in the last month, year, so on and so forth. But they also got a couple of new tabs in here. You can see your returning viewers. So how many viewers have come in after watching another video. And then you can see your unique viewers. So this is how many viewers have never seen your channel before. This is where they're going to show up. So this is a pretty cool metric to have. It's hard to say that I can do anything with it because subscribers don't matter anymore in the YouTube landscape. But it's cool to have, I think.
Another key statistic that backed up my Twitter thread is this one right here that says watch time from subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Like 93% to 6, you know? So when you're like making decisions about type of content to make and who you're appealing to. For most people, like those numbers are probably the same as mine, regardless of size. So it really gives you an idea that like you're still growing. You're not cultivating the 300 people you have. You're looking for 300 more.
Exactly. You can also see things like demographics, the age and gender of people that are typically watching you, and like geographics, like how many people are watching from different countries. One of the other cool things that unfortunately, like I don't think I can see at all. I'm gonna switch to lifetime and see. No, I don't have enough data. There's a section called other channels your audience watches and other videos your audience watches. Like this is really cool, and this didn't used to exist. It's still fairly new. I wished I could see that. I can't.
I wish I could too. Yeah, I don't
have it. I'm looking at one of the other channels that I manage, and I'm able to see like exactly what people are watching, and it's like, yeah, this makes sense. It's a lot of big channels in that particular niche, and when I look at other videos that the audience watch, it's also a lot of big videos in that particular niche. So that's cool to have. It's really cool to have.
When I go over to Lifetime and switch it on that, the top bar of like returning viewers, I can just hover over like a particular video, and it's recent. Like I'm talking, I don't have data up until maybe July of 2020.
Yeah.
But it says here for the Over the Garden Wall video of like, well, if it would fucking hover over it, YouTube's weird. Come on. Okay, there we go. Like, fucking, there we go. 5 returning viewers and 13 new ones for that video. You know, and obviously it got more views since then, but gives you kind of an idea.
It's a good thing that once you get enough data, like if I go to Lifetime, I can see how many people watching are male, how many are female, and then I can see the different age groups. My main group is 80% male, and I'm getting 99% of my viewers are between 18 and 34. So I'm hitting my target demographic pretty good. Yep. That's what I want, right? So if you're a beauty channel and you got a bunch of dudes watching that are 65 years old, then you might be doing something wrong. Or right. Who knows? Depends on what you're looking for. In terms of the viewer base. We're coming to a close, but I do want to mention one more tab that we don't currently have, and that is the revenue tab.
Yep.
Revenue does show up in the analytics page. So if you are a partner, if you are monetized, you're going to see things like how much money you made in the past month, your RPM, so how much money you made per 1,000 views, and then your playback based CPM, which means kind of like how much money advertisers are paying per 1,000 views on average. So those are going to be different depending on what kind of niche you're in, that kind of thing. You can also see your top earning videos. You can see your different revenue sources, ad revenue, super chats, YouTube premium, that kind of thing. And then you can see what kind of ad types are doing the best. Things like skippable video ads, bumper ads, non-skippable video ads, that kind of thing.
I actually do have data for this on mine.
Do you?
Yeah. Only because, back in the day before YouTube introduced their new monetization thing,
that makes sense.
I was doing YouTube. So from about July of 2016 when I started, all the way up to, it seems, about like February 17th, 2018, which might have been when they updated, or it might have been when I stopped getting anything. But I have shit that's filled in here. Playback-based CPM is at $4. RPM is at 51 cents. Estimated revenue, $13.82, and I can see top earning videos. 90% of them are live streams, by the way, in case you were wondering. Like, that's where all this shit's coming from. But yeah, I got the whole ad types thing and everything. I know why that's not there for Yin, because it started around the time when they updated those things. But if you have a channel that's old enough, that info is still there when you click on Lifetime.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't seem to have it for my old gaming channel, but none of those videos are public anymore, so that might be why. But
all my live streams are unlisted. Cool. Maybe unlisted videos are different. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's the revenue tab for those that's applicable.
And for all these, like, be sure to check not just the 28 days metric that it leaves you, but like if you've ever want to know like how many channel views I got in total lifetime in the overview tab. Like, what if I want specific? Mess around with those times, because the 28 days is helpful, and that's probably where you want to be looking at the most. But if you want like larger data that you would probably just go to Social Blade for, YouTube has it. You just have to be sure it's selected on Lifetime. Keep in mind that data on this sort of stuff can fluctuate. YouTube just doesn't have some periods for me, and that's fine. But a lot of it's still there. For example, on Overview, when I update it to Lifetime, Kitty Bobo video is still at the top, but 2 through 10 are all live streams. So, it's interesting.
That makes sense. But that is the end of our massive YouTube Studio episode. We've done it, bro.
We've covered it all, and 2 birds with 1 stone. We covered analytics too. We don't have to do it again.
There you go. If you have any specific questions about any of this, please feel free to leave us a comment on the YouTube channel or email us at anotherytpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to get very specific questions about your content. Maybe we could help you out. Who knows?
Absolutely. I hope you learned something, because I know a lot of this stuff is like, duh, this is obvious. But I know a good bit of our audience and friend group either like have not touched this page or only know specific parts. Like they know part of playlist or part of comments, but maybe haven't delved into settings or customization. And maybe they didn't know where certain features were. So if you stuck through all this and you learned something new, let us know in the comments. What'd you learn from today's video? Nothing?
Yeah.
Cool. Leave a comment anyway. You got to do it.
Do it. I'm glad we did it, bro. Glad we got through it.
That was a big one to check off the list, and it took several years in the making. But like the SEO one, it feels good when it's finally done, and we're like, cool, epic.
I agree.
Don't have to cover that again.
I completely agree.
And I mean, we will, like when new things happen, but for a later date.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure we'll do an updated version of this, or we'll talk about updated things as they come out on Your Week on YouTube segments.
Heck yeah.
Well, I've been Zach.
And I've been Aden.
And thank you for listening to this episode of Another YouTube Podcast.
Bye-bye.
I'm going to go change all of my YouTube tags. like my main channel tags
Right.
to be OnlyFans related.
That's a good idea. It's a really good idea. Like, go to your channel tags and just write sex and see how many like people like show up from that.